Hello students, myself Professor S.J. Hiremat from Department of Civil Engineering, KLS VDIT, Halia. Students, in the last class we have discussed about two topics, that is design of sewers and hydraulic formula for velocity calculation. So, related to design of sewer, we have discussed that the general approach for the design of sewers is the same as that of water mains, but the following are the two main differences between basic principles of design of sewers and those of water mains. First among them is presence of particles. The water is carried by water mains is practically free from particles of any solid matter, organic and inorganic. The sewage, on the other hand, contains such particles in suspension, and the heavy particles settle down at the bottom of sewers, which may ultimately result in the clogging of sewers. The sewers are therefore to be laid down at a gradient, and they should be capable of resisting the wear and tear due to abrasion of these particles. Second one is pressure. The water mains normally carry water under pressure, and hence, within certain limits, they may be carried up and down the hill. The sewers, on the other hand, are treated as open channels, and they must therefore be laid at continuous gradient in downward direction to flow under gravity. If the sewage has to be carried under pressure, it will require elaborate equipment at each house, which is to be connected to the drainage system. Now, also we have discussed about two important velocities which are used in the design of sewer, that is self-cleanishing and non-scouring velocities. The silting or deposition of particles of solid matter is undesirable in sewers, and hence the sewer should be laid at such a gradient that a minimum velocity which will prevent the silting of particles in sewers is developed over a wide variation discharge of sewage. Such a minimum velocity is known as self-cleanishing velocity, and for keeping the sewers free from any trouble, this velocity should be developed at least once in a day, preferably twice in a day. So, the self-cleanishing velocity can be found out using shield formula here. And also we have discussed about the self-cleanishing velocity depending on different types of particles present in the sewage, that is angular stones, round pebbles, fine gravel, coarse sand, fine sand and clay. And also depending on the diameter of sewer, the self-cleanishing to be maintained in the sewer are also discussed. Now come to the next type of velocity, that is the maximum velocity of flow is also to be taken into consideration. If the velocity of flow exceeds a certain limit, the particles of solid matter start to damage the inside smooth surface of sewers, in other words, a scouring action takes place. The maximum permissible velocity at which no such scouring action will occur is known as non-scouring velocity, and it will mainly depend on the material used in the construction of sewers, and it differs for different types of materials of sewer which are used in the construction of sewer. And we have to note few points in connection with the self-cleanishing and non-scouring velocities. First one is, in the design of sewers, the discharge is known, and hence the velocity of flow and gradient of sewers are to be properly correlated to achieve the desired results. Second one is, in a flat country, the design of sewers should be such that the self-cleanishing velocity is developed at the time of maximum discharge, but provision is made in the design that a velocity of 400 mm per second develops at the time of minimum discharge also. If it is not possible to achieve a minimum velocity of about 400 mm per second, the flushing tanks will have to be provided to keep the sewers clean. But in a rough country, the sewers are to be designed to achieve non-scouring velocity at the time of maximum discharge, and self-clinishing velocity at the time of minimum discharge. If fall is too great, the drop manholes are to be constructed to bring down the velocities of flow within these limits. Next one is that for combined sewer, it becomes difficult to achieve self-clinishing velocity at the time of minimum discharge. For this purpose, special forms of sewer should be adopted. Apart from this, we have discussed about the hydraulic formula for velocity. The flow of sewage is usually to be treated as open channel flow except when it is specially designed to flow under pressure, as in case of inverted siphons. There are various empirical formulae, charts, diagrams and graphs which are used to design the sewer. The charts, diagrams and graphs directly give all the elements required in the sewer design. Now, various formulae used in the design of sewer or for finding the velocity in the sewers are: first one is Sage's formula, Bezin's formula, Manning's formula, Cooter's formula, Crimp and Bridges formula, Hazen and Williams formula. We have discussed in detail about all these formulae in the last class. Now, today we will discuss about another two important factors, that is effects of flow variation on velocity, and also we will discuss the regime velocity. Now come to the effects of flow variation on velocity. The sewage discharge flowing through a sewer does not remain constant all the time but varies considerably from time to time. Due to this variation in discharge, the depth of flow varies and hence the hydraulic mean depth, that is HMD, also varies. Due to the change in HMD, the flow velocity gets affected from time to time. Since the velocity developed in a sewer of a given section and grade will be less as and when the flow reduces and the sewer becomes less than half full, it is necessary to check the sewer for maintaining a minimum velocity of about 0.45 meter per second at the time of minimum flow. The designer should also ensure that a velocity of about 0.9 meter per second is developed at least at the time of maximum flow, and preferably during average flow periods also. Moreover, care should be taken to see that at the time of maximum flow, the velocity generated does not exceed scouring value. On the other hand, if the available ground slopes are neither too steep nor too flat, the condition of developing velocities of about 0.9 meter per second at average flow may be practically possible and economical, and hence may be insisted upon. In hilly areas permitting too high slopes, the sewers may be designed to develop such velocities of 0.9 meter per second even at minimum discharge, and they may be checked for limiting non-scouring velocities at maximum discharge. Now come to the next topic, that is regime velocity. To understand this, we should have some knowledge about the maximum and minimum velocities to be generated in sewers. The flow velocities in the sewer should be such that neither the suspended materials in sewage get silted up nor the sewage pipe material gets scoured out. The first limitation limits the minimum velocity and the second limitation limits the maximum velocity. Now, what do you mean by this minimum velocity here? The silting of sewers can be avoided by generating such high velocities that would not permit the solids to settle down. That is, the velocity should be such as to cause automatic self-clinishing effect, such as self-clinishing velocity, that is the velocity which will even scour the deposited particles of a given size, must be developed in sewers at least once a day so as not to allow any deposition in the sewers. The generation of such a minimum self-clinishing velocity in the sewer at least once a day is important because If sudden deposition takes place and is not removed, it will obstruct free flow, causing further deposition and finally leading to the complete blocking of the sewer. Following Sheed's formula is used to determine the self-cleanishing velocity. That is, Vs is equal to 1 divided by n into r raised to 1 by 6 into under root k into d dash into bracket g minus 1, where Vs is self-cleanishing velocity, r is hydraulic mean depth, g is specific gravity of the sediment, d dash is diameter of particles of silt, n is slope. Usually the value of n for sewer pipe is taken as 0.013, where k is equal to constant. In the above expression, k is a dimensional constant indicating an important characteristics of sediment, that is solids present in the sewage. Its value usually varies from 0.04 minimum applicable to start of scouring of clean grit to about 0.8 applicable for full removal of sticky grit. For relatively clean inorganic and organic matters present in sewage, its value are taken at 0.04 and 0.06 respectively. The actual value of K should, however, be determined only by experiments for removal of different materials. From the above equation, it can be computed that the inorganic sand particles of diameter 1 mm and specific gravity 2.65 can be removed with a minimum velocity of about 0.45 meter per second. And similarly, for removing organic particles of 5 mm dia and specific gravity 1.2, a minimum velocity of about 0.45 meter per second is required to be generated. Hence, for removing the impurities mostly present in sewage, that is sand up to 1 mm dia and organic particles up to 5 mm dia, it is necessary that a minimum velocity of about 0.45 meter per second and an average velocity of about 0.9 meter per second is developed in sewers. With this provision, the inorganic solids larger than 1 mm in size and organic solids larger than 5 mm in size will of course settle down on the invert of the sewer pipe and will have to be removed by the maintenance crew during regular desilting operations to be carried out at suitable intervals. Hence, while finalizing the size and gradients of the sewers, they must be checked for the minimum velocity that would be generated at minimum hourly discharge, that is about one third of the average daily discharge. Such a self-cleanishing velocity, that is about 0.45 meter per second at minimum discharge, can also be ensured by keeping the minimum design velocity to a value as high as 0.8 meter per second. Hence, while designing the sewers, the flow velocity at full design depth is generally kept at about 0.8 meter per second or so. And since sewers are generally designed for half to three-fourth full, the velocity at running full condition will even be more than that, say about 1 meter per second or so. The minimum velocity generated in the sewers will not only ensure the adequate transportation of the suspended solids, but will also help in first one, that is keeping the sewer size under control. Second one is preventing the sewage from getting stale and decomposed by moving in faster, thereby preventing evolution of foul gases. The values of gradients required to generate velocities of 0.75 to 0.9 and also 1.05 meter per second for different diameters pipes running full are given in the following table here. Just you can go through this particular table in which the different or else I can say the different velocities to be maintained for different diameters of the sewer pipes. And also, National Building Organization, known as NBO of India, has suggested the following gradients as being sufficient for preventing interference of sewage solids with the flow. And they recommends the following gradients and velocity to be generated in the sewer lines. So this is the table, just you can go through the table. Now come to the another velocity, that is maximum velocity. The smooth interior surface of a sewer pipe gets scoured due to the continuous abrasion caused by the suspended solids present in the sewage. This scouring and wear and tear of pipe interior is much more pronounced at velocities higher than what can be tolerated by the pipe material. This wear and tear of the sewer pipes will not only reduce their lifespan but will also reduce their carrying capacities. In order to avoid these complications, it is therefore necessary to limit the maximum velocity that will be produced in the sewer pipe at any time. This limiting or non-scouring velocity will mainly depend on the material of the sewer, and its values are tabulated in table 4.7 depending on the different materials used in the construction of sewer. So just you can go through the table in which if the sewer material is vitrified tiles and glazed bricks, then the limiting velocity should be 4.5 to 5.5 meter per second. For cast iron sewers, it should be 3.5 to 4.5. For stoneware sewers, it should be 3 to 4 meter per second. For cement concrete sewers, it should be 2.5 to 3 meter per second. For ordinary bricks lined sewers, it should be 1.5 to 2.5 meter per second. The problem of controlling the high velocity generated in the sewers mainly arises in hilly areas where the available ground slopes may be very steep. In such places, it may therefore be required to limit the design gradient and to adjust the balance available head by constructing drop through manholes at suitable places along the length of the sewer. Students, these topics are very important in sanitary engineering as well as in municipal services. Thank you, one and all.